okay? So just combine service for that. But there is going to be both languages, okay? All right, so our title for today is Jesus, Prince of Peace, which is our last week of our Advent series. It's again, Jesus, Prince of Peace. And the last few weeks we've been talking about Advent. And Advent is the idea of counting down until Christmas. It's the idea, like for us, most of us. But the idea of Advent really actually means the idea of waiting for Jesus to come. The first time, it's waiting for Jesus to come, and he's already come, so now we're waiting for him to come again. So this week is our last week of Advent, and normally in some churches you light like Advent candles in the front. So this is our last week, and it's our week on peace, the idea of peace. So we're doing peace because our verse for this today is out of Isaiah 9:6, and it says this. In Isaiah 9:6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, a son is given to us," and we see, it says, "and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father," and the last one is Prince of Peace. Prince of Peace. And so the idea is that he was called the Prince of Peace. Now, when we see and hear the word peace, what do you think? Okay? What do you think when you hear peace? So I often say the word peace. Not him, the younger one. Thank you. Sorry, we have my children in today, and we're trying to manage who has who. Okay. So I say this all the time in my house. I say, I just really want some peace and quiet. Josiah knows this all the time. I'm like, I just want some peace and quiet, please. Like, someone stop the music. Like, I just want peace and quiet. And the idea of like peace, most of us has the idea of like calm, like tranquility. In some words, it means like the idea of there's no war, there's no conflict. But peace in Scripture, peace in the Bible goes way deeper than that. And let me give you an illustration, because he's still here. So let me give you an illustration that describes this idea of peace. So this week, I knew that it was going to be about peace this week, okay? I knew that. And sometimes God has a sense of humor that drives me crazy, where something will happen in my life that like really challenges me about what I know I have to preach about that Sunday, okay? So sometime this last week, okay, this coming Tuesday actually, Pastor and I celebrate 8 years. It's our 8th anniversary this Tuesday. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this last week, though, we had a big argument. And honestly, I don't even remember what it was about. Because you know what? Most of the time, when you fight with someone you love, like your best friend or your parents or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, when you fight, most of the time, it's not about that thing. Like you're like, oh, no, it's not about that thing. It's usually not. It's usually about something deeper than that, okay? So this week we had an argument, and I honestly can't remember what it was about. But the point was this. There are 2 types of people in this world, okay? This is my, like, scientific theory, okay? There are 2 types of people in this world. Person number 1. When you get into an argument with someone, or, like, you're, like, really stressed out, and it's, like, not good between you and somebody, your friend, whatever, you have to talk about it. Like, doesn't matter what time of day it is or night it is. It could be, like, 4 in the morning, but you have to talk about it, or else you cannot let it go. That's type A person, okay? Type B person. No matter what happens, how big the conflict is, you cannot talk about it in that moment. You just have to sleep. You have to sleep, and you have to just like sleep it off, and it's better the next day. Take a wild guess which kind of person is me and which kind of person is pastor. Take a wild guess. Type A cannot let it go. Who's that? Well, because you're right. It is me, okay? That is me. Like, the sun cannot go down on my anger. I'm like, I need to talk right now. He's like, oh my God, it is 2 in the morning. I'm like, I don't care. I cannot sleep, okay? And my husband's like, when he gets stressed, he hibernates. That man, it's like stress level goes up to a certain level, and his eyes start to close, okay? And early in my marriage, I learned that. And he learned, like, oh my God, I married a crazy lady, okay? But the point is, I realized, okay, if I give him some space and he sleeps, usually it goes better the next day. I have learned that, okay? So, of course, all fights happen at what time? At night, always, 100%. And so we had some argument, and I was like really upset. And he's like, I'm so tired. I'm like, of course you are tired. And he's like, I just need to sleep. I'm like, fine. When a girl says fine, does that mean fine? No, okay? So I'm like, fine, go to sleep. Man knocks out in 10 seconds flat. He is snoring, okay? I was like, I'm going to smother somebody. Like, someone's gonna die tonight, okay? Like, literally, I was like, you can sleep, but you have the gall to snore? It was pretty bad. So we wake up the next day, okay? He's busy, I'm busy, I have kids, we're doing our thing. And like, I know I'm gonna see him in the afternoon, you know? So he comes home, and what do? I give him the silent treatment. I'm like, you did not sleep on me last night, you know? Like, I could not sleep, okay? And so we're like, we have kids, we're trying to do things. And finally, I'm like, we need to talk. I'm like, turn on a video for Chisung, like, put her to sleep. We need to talk right now. And he's like, right now? I'm like, right now, okay? Now, the story ends well. He remembers this event. The story ends well. We did reconcile. But here's the thing. Like, while I was waiting that whole day before I talked to him, like, the thing is, I had to get this message done. Like, I had to prep it because this is my time. Guess what it's about today? It's about peace. I was like, dude, I cannot even type a single letter because my heart is so not at peace right now. Like, I'm so mad right now. And I was like, God, this sucks. And so he gets home, we talk, like, work it out, and everything is good. And as I'm writing this, I realized, I was like, wow, that's exactly what it is today. Like, that's exactly why Jesus came. You guys know what I'm talking about? Most of you in this room are not married, okay? But you know when you're really upset with your friend? Like, best friend and you are like, it's bad. Or like you and your parent, or like you and your sibling, it's like really bad. You know that feeling? Do you know what I'm talking about? Some of you guys run away from that feeling, but like that feeling of like, you just hate that feeling. Like, you know you've done something maybe, but you don't know what it is, and they're really mad, and like they're not talking to you, and it's just like the worst feeling in the world. Like everything, the whole day, nothing is great. Everything sucks because that one relationship is broken right now. You know what I'm talking about? That feeling is so hard. You're a little too young, Jisung. That feeling is so hard. Like, you literally cannot think about anything else. Or you sleep, one or the other. You're those types of people. But, like, it literally makes everything else suck. And I was telling him, and I was like, babe, like, I literally cannot do this. I felt like a hypocrite preparing this message about peace. Because Jesus came to reconcile us to God. That's the peace he's talking about, relational peace. Like, I was literally living it. I was like, and he was like, yeah, me too. I couldn't do anything, like, at church. I was like, that's right, because it's because of me, you know? And, like, the point being, though, like, that's what I realized, that broken relationship, rupture in relationship, all of us have experienced that, will experience that. Because that's what our world is like. It's broken. But that's the thing. You know that saying of, like, you don't know what you have until it's gone? You don't realize how great that friendship was until it's broken. Or like, you don't realize how great XYZ was until it's not there anymore. When I reconciled with my husband, I realized, oh my gosh, this is exactly what it is with God. Like, I don't think I realize how often with God that that's what Jesus did for me. Like, when he came, me and God, we were broken because of sin. Like, that ruptured relationship, that icky, awful feeling I had all day being in a fight with him, but like multiply that by like 1,000,000. That's what it's like between me and God. But oftentimes we're just so used to being in that state. We're so used to like living in a broken relationship that we don't even know it's broken. We don't realize it's dysfunctional. Most of you guys are like kind of college age now, okay? Most of people, they don't realize that their family has some interesting quirks until they like leave the house. Or like you go like dorm somewhere, you like live with roommates, and you realize, oh, your family doesn't do XYZ? Like, oh, I guess my family's a little weird or whatever. Like, every family has its own little dysfunctions that you don't realize until you leave. And you're like, oh, this is kind of strange. Okay. Like, we don't realize how broken it was between us and God and until Jesus came, because we live in it so much oftentimes. Like, that's how crazy it was, like, that Jesus came and restored that relationship, that feeling I had after we reconciled, but like times a million. How often does it bother me? Like, after we reconciled, I had that thought of like, wow, how often does it bother me when me and God are not on good terms? Like, when me and God are not on talking terms, or when me and God are not in a good place. Does it bother me that much? Like when my friend is not friends with me right now. Like, how often do I realize, like, that's what it is with God? Like, when it's broken like that, do I feel that? Am I, like, looking for him, searching for him because I need to reconcile that with him? Like we do with our friends, or our boyfriends, or our girlfriends, or our parents, or whatever. We do that so easily with people in our lives, but it's so hard to do with God. And I realized, like, I had to repent of, like, dang, God, wow, I didn't realize, like, how much I've settled just for, like, a mediocre relationship with you. When you want so much more, you want true, genuine peace between us. You sent your son literally into this earth, born in a scandalous situation, to grow up just to be a carpenter's son and to die on a cross so that I could be restored with you, so that I could have a relationship with you. You and I, we know that so much, we take it for granted. We take it for granted, just like sometimes you take your friends for granted until something happens. In the exact same way, from the beginning of time, when sin entered and human relationships were broken, it was broken first between us and God, then one another, then us and earth, and all of creation. And most of the time we spend our lives trying to repair this relationship, or us and the world, neglecting us and God. Without that, you can't have any true peace. You can't have any true peace. If I was stubborn, which I can be sometimes, but when it comes to my husband and us, if we're not good, we have to resolve it now. But if I was stubborn enough and I came today and we hadn't reconciled, like, I could have done that, you know? But there isn't truly I can fake it, but there isn't truly any peace in any area of my life because that one relationship is not at peace. Same thing with you and God. When you and God are not at peace, nothing else in your life is at peace. Nothing. And so that is my main point today. You can walk away, be like, ooh, they're going to fight. Okay, I don't care. But the point is, we're reconciled. But the thing is, like, this is my main point. Jesus came as the Prince of Peace to restore peace between you and God. That's why he came. That is the greatest gift that he's ever given us, is a way to restore peace. You know that olive branch, like the symbol of like a peace offering? He gives that to us through his son. He's like, here you go. I want to be okay with you again. But you have to take that branch. You have to take that, like, okay, I'm going to do that too. That was Jesus. In Colossians 1, we have a couple of verses. Colossians 1:19, it says this, Colossians 1:19. Through him, Jesus, God reconciled everything to himself. He made peace with everything in heaven and on earth. By what? By his blood on the cross. Do we realize how precious of a gift that is? Think about the best gift you've ever gotten, ever, in your whole life. Okay, think about it. Like, maybe it was super expensive, or like super rare, or like your like whatever best friend gave it to you. Think about, like, I can see all your faces right now. You're thinking about like the best gift you've ever gotten. Okay? The best gift you've ever gotten is your sibling. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That was Caitlin Grace. Okay, but the thing, Grace, like, that's right. But the thing is, like, think about the very best gift gift you've ever been given. Your sibling, right, Brendan? Like such a great gift, okay? The greatest gift. The point being, now, when you got the most amazing gift, at first, it's like so great, you know? Like you play with it all day, you're super excited, but then time goes on, and what happens? What happens? It's like you don't kind of lose interest, right? Like, or you take it for granted, your sibling, right? Like you kind of like, it's not as new or exciting anymore, right? The same thing with us and Jesus. If you've ever given your life to him before, that first time feels like the best gift you've ever gotten. And then it kind of slowly wears away, and we kind of get used to it, take it for granted, forget how big of a deal that gift is. He came so that we could have a repaired relationship with him. Because without peace with you and God, there is no peace anywhere else. You can look for peace all over the place. But if there's no peace between you and God, there is no peace within yourself. There's no peace between you and others. There's no peace anywhere in your life. True peace. Colossians 1:21 says this. So this includes you who were once far away from God, us. We were his what? We were his enemies, separated from him by our thoughts and actions, evil thoughts and actions. Yet now he has reconciled you to himself through his death. We were once considered his enemies. We were once his enemies. But Jesus comes and changes us from enemies to children, to family, to friends, to beloved. That's what he does for you and I. When we say yes to that olive branch, yes to that Prince of Peace, that's what he offers us, a restored, right relationship with God. And it changes everything. It changes everything. Just like when you and your friend make up, or you and your parents are okay, or whatever it is, or me and my husband, we made up, it changes everything. Everything is so much better. Like everything is so much better. In the same way, peace, that's what he offers us. Rightly first with him, and then everything changes. There's peace in every other areas of our lives. Our last verse is John 14:27. It says this, peace I leave with you. My peace I give you, the peace from him. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. He's saying when you have right peace with me, when you're in right relationship with me, everything else you will experience peace. Even when there's hard things in your life, even when things go wrong, even when brokenness happens around you, but you have a different level of peace in your heart because you and God are at peace. And so, my main point today is what? Jesus came as the Prince of Peace to restore peace between us and God. That's the peace he wants us to experience. That restored relationship between us and God. Let me ask you that question. Are you experiencing that peace with God right now? Take inventory of your life right now. Are you experiencing that peace with him? When you think about standing before God, what comes to mind? Is there peace in your heart? For some of us, we take it for granted. We don't know what we have until it's gone. Or maybe there's a leak in our relationship, a rupture, and it slowly fizzles away. For others, maybe you haven't fully experienced it. Maybe it's been broken for so long, this is your normal. But let me tell you, as we near Christmas, I want to remind you that he is truly the greatest gift we've ever been given. You all have heard this a billion times, and yet it doesn't make it not true. It doesn't make it not true. He is the greatest gift. Why? Because he came to restore peace between you and God, reconcile you and God. And so, let me ask you, will you say yes to him again? Yes to that peace again? You know, at some point, when you have a broken relationship, someone's got to start, right? Like someone has to start being like, we got to talk. Or like, even if they're mad, you know, they're yelling, we got to talk, like whatever it is. Like someone has to start initiating something. Who likes to be the first person to say sorry? Who's really good at that? Good job, you guys. Okay, so good at saying sorry, okay? But looks like majority of you guys have a hard time being the first person to say sorry, okay? But here's the thing. He's already started the conversation with you. He's already the one to be like, look, I know it's hard for you, so I'm going to come to you, okay? I'm going to be like, hey, let's reconcile. Let's have peace between me and you, because that's what we truly need. And so, will you respond to him today? Can I have the praise team come up? And can we all stand? As we prepare our hearts today, again, remember, asking. Can we get the lights right there at the back? Thank you. What is your peace with God right now like? Are you experiencing that peace with him right now? In your heart, in your life, is there peace? Maybe you're chasing all these other things because you feel like that will make you feel better. And yeah, maybe for a short amount of time. But how many of you guys know the addict's high, right? Like the first time is really great, and then you're always chasing that first high all the time. Whether it's an actual high, whether it's like power or love or affection or attention, whatever it may be, we're always chasing it. But it's always a little bit far away. It always is fleeting. This Christmas, I want you to remember that he is the greatest gift given to us because he restores peace between us and God. When that is at peace, everything else is at peace. Can we pray right now in response to what we heard today? I know it's a simple message, and yet I think oftentimes we take that for granted. How often do we live our lives ignoring that feeling, that niggling feeling inside of like, something's not right, but I just can't deal with it right now. Maybe that feeling is because there's lack of peace between you and God. So come before him today and say, God, I want to experience that peace again. I want to experience peace with you. Make it simple. Don't make it a hard prayer. Say, God, I want to experience peace with you. Help me. Help me to give my life to you, to live for you, to know you.